Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth episode of FPGA Limerick. In this episode, we will talk about the linter, format, logging, and editor for SpinalHDL. However, as we all know, the concepts like linter, format, etc. are universal. They are not only confined to SpinalHDL, so we will expand the scope to other languages when it's necessary. By the way, the script of this episode has already been posted at fpga.pausering.com. You can take a look here, fpga.pausering.com. Okay, for the linter, probably you already know it is a tool that can check your code against a certain coding style and flag the part that violates the coding convention. Maybe we can start with C and C++. For C and C++, the linter I usually use is clen-tidy. We can take a look. I already have some file. Check it out. Let's start with WSL. It's a Windows subsystem for Linux, which we installed from the previous episode. Let's make ourselves root sudo-se. Okay. We can go to, let's find some code. C++. Let's see. Let's do tidy checks equals star, and let's do this one. Okay, it says line 25 has a magic number. Let's take a look at the code. Okay, where is it? Okay, let's take a look at this one. Line 25, yeah, has a magic number, and we can ignore it by putting a directive here, no lint. And let's take a look again. Okay, now it passed. So that's that for the lint for C and C++. And for the format of C and C++, you can use clen format. Here you can see a -i. It means in place, so there's no extra file generated on the disk. And also for the style, the sort includes set as false. So because otherwise the format will reorder your include in alphabetic order, and depends. Sometimes there could be interdependency between those includes. That's why it's better to set as false. And also the coding style by default, I set Google. I think it's Google has its own coding C++ coding style. I think you can find it here. Yeah, you can take a look at this for all the details. But it's a popular one for C++. Okay, that's all for the okay, sorry. That's for the C++ format. And for the Python, you can use pylint as linter. For the Verilog and the SystemVerilog, there are two options. As far as I know, one is a variable, which you can install from this link. The other is the Verilog bin. Since we already installed the Verilog from previous episode, this is just a side benefit of it. Let's take a look. Let's find some code here. Synchronizer. Let's see. Variable Verilog lint toggle. Yeah, we show give you some warning, for example, like the trading space on that. And let's also take a look at the Verilog bin lint only. Yeah, we will find you a different type of warning on that. Okay, so that's that for the lint for Verilog and the SystemVerilog. And for the format, you can use a variable. It's called variable Verilog format, and you can do -- in place. And for that, it's that's the format of Verilog and SystemVerilog. Okay, now comes to the focus of this episode, which is the linter and everything else formatting, everything else for SpinalHDL. As we know, SpinalHDL is based on Scala, so its coding style is also largely based on Scala coding style. So the official Scala coding style can be found in this link. It has lots of rules. For example, the class name, it should be camel case with an uppercase as the first letter. And also for the SpinalHDL itself, it has additional coding conventions which can be found in this link. For example, the function name and also the if, when, how it was formatted. So to enforce that, there are a few tools we can use. Here we can use Scala style and a Scala fix. Let's take a look in our Hello World example. Let's open a terminal. Okay, let's check out. Okay, the repo link is here. Okay, check it out. Let's see. As we can see, there are 3 files here: Scala config, Scala fix config, which is for Scala fix configuration, and Scala format config, it's configuration for the Scala format, and also this is the Scala style configuration for the Scala style. The format I will mention later with the editor, and also all those 3 has been integrated with the SBT, and so in the build SBT you will find the correspondent setup here. Now let's take a look, see how it works in the SBT command line. Where's our okay, so let's go to this, do a SBT. Oh, sorry. Now here in the Hello World SBT. Okay, now let's do Scala fix check. Okay, it all passed. Let's do Scala style. It all passed. Okay, by the way, here all the checks I already set up in the build.sbt, so only checks the source code, not the testing code in the command line. So with that, let's play with the code, see if we can make some violation. For example, let's do this. This is all done through log4j2, but let's say I want to do it in println. Let's see what happens. If I do again, now if I do a Scala check style again, it will say, it will flag line 88, which is this line says it doesn't like the println because println is not the best way for logging. Actually, for logging, you usually prefer, there are different level of logging, for example, info, warning, or debug, and also you prefer to see it both on terminal and also on the log file. So for this, actually, we already set up in the build.sbt set up the logging for log4j2. So all you have to do is do this import and extend the logging, and now you can log your stuff here. And if you do logging, in addition to the display on the terminal, those output will also be saved in a log file. The log file is actually saved in the Okay, there should be a log folder here. If we run it, so let's run it, see how it works. Let's say run the first one. See, this is our logging format, and right now I set up as info. By the way, now we have the logging. See, and open it. Okay, that's logging, and also the config for log 4j2 is and here in this file. This is the configuration for our logging. See, right now I set up as info. You can feel free to save it, set it to other levels, for example, debug or warning. Now let's run the second one. Do a second run on the Verilog. Okay, now if we go back to our log file, yeah, it has been updated. See, with additional log info appended to it. So that's for the log file. I think it should be useful for the regression. In that case, we need the logging for a big log file, and also see showed on the terminal. So that is useful for testing. Now let's see. Let's introduce the editor part. That is the fun part, because in addition to the command line, I think for SpinalHDL or for Scala, the editor is very useful. It will greatly boost your productivity, because it's actually is IDE. It can integrate the SPD shell inside, and also integrate the linter and the format inside. Let's take a look. The IntelliJ IDE can be downloaded from this link for Windows. Let's take a look, see how it works. Let's run it. Okay, IntelliJ. After you install, don't forget to also install the plugin here, the Scala plugin. You should install that as well. Now let's open our project. I think it's under, yeah, I found the hello world. Okay, so open it. The first time open it will ask you whether it's a SBT project or not. You should say SBT. Okay, now there are a few things we need to set up. I think they are all mentioned in our companion blog at fpga.poststring.com. I think the first thing is you need to set up the JDK if the tool didn't do that for you. Let's take a look. I think the SBT is the JDK, sorry. First, I think in the project structure, and here you should set the SDK for that, which is the OpenJDK. Okay, and also you need to set up the JVM. I think it's in the build tools SPT. Here you should set this also for the OpenJDK. And then I think with that, at least you should be able to run the run SPT share of that. Let's see if you can run the SPT share of that. Okay, now SPD share is also up. If you run, you can run it here. For example, let's run the second one, which is the Verilog simulation. yeah, it will run here just like we did before with the standalone command line. Now you can run in straight from this editor. And also let's take a look, see if we got additional log file. Yeah, we got additional log file for that. Okay, so that runs, and now let's take a look at the format. I think the format setting is here. It's in the edit and coding. Sorry, let me take a look. Coding style. Okay, Scala. Okay, yeah. Make sure you use the Scala format, and this will be automatically picked up by the IDE, by the IntelliJ IDE. And here, make sure you can do the reformatting on save. Otherwise, you have to do the manually through the shortcut is Control Alt L. You can do that. So let's see how it works. So, for example, our file, this one, say I did some weird change, and when I say Control S, see it'll come back, will automatically format that for you. Okay, so that will make your code clean. And also let's take a look at the Scala style. The Scala style is set up here. It's in the, I think, in the inspection side. Okay, so let's come back, see how it works. So again, on this one, as we know, as I mentioned earlier, the print ln will be flagged as a violation. Okay, now you see it was flagged by the Scala style. It mentioned it matched the print ln. Okay, so that's good. We can catch it. But here's another thing I want to mention. See, because here is we also have some testing code. For example, this one. Oh, it has lots of almost every line was flagged, but we don't care about this file very much because actually it's a test bench, right? It's testing code, so we don't care much about this one. So how do we exclude this one from the Scala style? So we can do it. What we can do is here in the setting, in the inspection, Scala style check. We in the testing mode, we just say no highlighting. Okay, no highlighting, and for everything else, we still do warning. And then for this one, I think we can just mark it and mark this one as the test source root. Okay, so once it's in test, okay, now all the flags are gone because I think the Scala style will just ignore this file once it's in the test folder. Okay, so I think that is useful. Now we have the format, we have the lint, and we can do the compiling straight from the editor. Okay, that is pretty much all the tools set up for SpinalHDL. Let's see if there are any slides left. Okay, we mentioned all of them, and let me see if there's anything else. Okay, I think let's see. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you think this video is useful to you, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye bye.